Another edition of the Nooga Splash Spotlight Series on Off the Bench Radio is once again going on, and we're going to be pleased to be joined here by former Baylor standout and current multi-sport athlete over at Stanford, and that is Caleb Hampton. And Caleb, how's it going tonight, man? Thanks for making time. I know you're not here very long, from the West Coast, but how are we doing this evening?
Oh, we're doing good. I'm just very glad to be here.
Appreciate that. And, Justin, we were talking before the show, we're used to seeing this guy, in red and gray just across the pond here at Baylor, leading the way to the state championship a couple years ago. And just we're looking forward to seeing what he's doing over at the for Stanford, and get ready for, a lot of changes in the college game as that approaches coming up in August.
I'll tell you what, it's good, being a Chattanooga guy my whole life, it's fun to see, somebody kind of do it big, two-sport athlete. When you talk about Stanford in particular, there's another guy that was on that campus just a few decades ago by the name of John Elway that also played two sports, a Super Bowl champion quarterback, if anybody's unfamiliar. So, to think that there's a kind of Chattanooga representation, all the way across the pond. I don't know how many hundreds or thousands of miles that is from here, but it's just fun to think we're kind of Tennessee boy, Chattanooga guy, kind of out there, running it up in a very competitive league with very competitive, obviously high-level program like Stanford, man. Very impressive.
So, well, Justin, let's just dive right into it with Caleb Hampton. Now, is the Champ name something that your friends call you, or how did that come about?
Yeah, that's a big name for me right now. It started when I was about 6, 7 years old. I was playing baseball, all-star teams, and, parents and also players will be like, let's go see Hamp, and see Hamp turn into Champ, and ever since then it's just been a name. It goes with my first and last name, and it just fits perfectly.
Of course, my education did not even totally get that, so that's an awesome thing. So now you're originally from Ooltewah, so did you play like little league ball and select ball out in that area, or did it kind of just rotate based on where you were?
Yeah, I was originally born and raised in Chattanooga, but I live in Ooltewah as of right now. So I played at Harrison Recreational Center over by Harrison. Just that's where all my roots are. I actually met one of my old coaches, Bobby Valliere, a couple of days ago, and it was just home for me. I know I drive by there all the time when I go to my grandma's house, and that's just a really good home place for me.
You just brought up grandma. I saw an article. You say you stopped by and pick up some cooking after a meal. What was the favorite meal grandma made, and what is she cooking? Your brother's at Colgate.
Yeah.
Got another brother playing at Baylor this season, and obviously you're doing big things at Stanford. So what's your favorite dish that grandma's serving?
I call her my Gigi. She she helps the family out a lot. She fixes everything. Fridays like fish fry, red rice, collard greens. She fixes hamburger patties, chicken, all of the goods. So after school, when I went to Baylor, we always go over to her house, and she'll fix dinner for me, my cousins, my aunts and uncles, and it's just like I have a really tight family, and I love her. She also sends me boxes whenever I run out. She'll call me and text me. She sends me boxes of snacks up there at Stanford. So I'm just very blessed to have her in my life.
Families are the best. Send you care packages when you don't expect them or ask for them, and having pretty good home-cooked meals pretty much every day was a family reunion in the Hampton house for sure.
Can't beat that.
Yeah. So I guess let's just start with, kind of recap your first, year as a student-athlete for Stanford. You played both football and baseball. That's, you committed to Stanford, before you graduated from Baylor. So that obviously is a big thing for you being a multi-sport athlete. Kind of talk about your first season, your first year as a Division I student athlete for Stanford.
Oh yeah, so my first season I'll say went pretty well for me. I got to play in both sports. Many freshmen don't have the opportunity to even go out there and perform at that level. So I was able to play in 3 games. I played in the Washington game. That was a big thing for me because they made it to the championship. So and I played in the Washington State game and also the Cal game. So those were 3 big games that I played in. I was very blessed. I had 1 carry out of all of those games. I pretty much went in there the block for my QB because we had a lot of passing plays and stuff like that. So I was very blessed to be able to go out there and say that I played against Washington and all those big teams like that. For baseball, I played I had 7 ABs, two hits. I had my first AB, I had a single, and then my last AB, I had a double. before my double, I almost hit one out, hit one to the warning track, dead center at 400. I was kind of upset, but I experienced it, both sports. Love both staffs. Football staff's great. Baseball staff's great as well. Love them, and they both come and support me. Football players came to my games. They came to the scrimmages before the games, and the baseball staff, they come up to the practice. They came to spring practices and stuff like that and was rooting me on. So, I love both staffs.
So obviously you're around both sides of D1 athletes. Is there a guy on your team maybe you think like, this guy probably could play football or this guy might be a pretty good baseball player?
Yeah. There's some guys that come up to me and they're like, yeah, I want to go out there and do both. I did something in high school. And, there's a QB on my team. His name's Chuck. He played baseball. He showed me some videos. I think he's pretty good as well. And, vice versa for football as well. Some baseball players, Saborn Campbell, he's an outfielder as well. He was actually being recruited at Stanford to play football as well, but I'm sure he could be a good fit as well.
No, yeah, but here's the thing, though. Do these guys have almost 2,000 yards rushing in their senior season for football and an all-state baseball player, right?
No, I don't believe so.
Yeah, well, talk about that daily schedule a little more. So obviously there's a little bit of crossover both sports, but what's the training like? Do you have to train football during football season and then just train, physical, lifting? What kind of stuff goes on to balance both?
Mm-hmm. So since I'm on scholarship for football, I go there and I train football during the football season. When it comes to baseball season, I'll still do the football workout. So I'll wake up 6:30, have one-on-one practice with my position coach, which I'm very blessed. He's able to go out of his way and do that with me at around 7, and that'll end around I want to say 9 because I do conditioning right after that. I go to class, and then I have baseball practice starts at 3. They're more lenient with me, and they let me, get my fuels in and stuff after classes, and then I'll show up like 3:15 and stretch and get ready for practice. And if there's a game, I'll go to the game.
Yeah, that's it. It sounds like a full-time job and then some for sure. So, biggest adjustment for you going from Baylor to the college life. Now, obviously, the atmosphere and the environment at Baylor kind of mirrors the college, atmosphere to me a little bit. Just the few times we've covered games over there in the past, but kind of talk about the biggest adjustment for you between, I guess, when you graduated from high school to when you stepped on campus there at Stanford.
I'll just say, like, at the college level, sports is like a job. It's not like something you do on the side like you are at high school.
Sure.
So that's the thing. Takes up most of your time. Like, I'm only here for summer for 10 days. I only have Christmas break. I don't have spring break because I'm doing baseball. So that's the biggest thing. It's a real life job, and just give all the credit due to all the athletes out there at the college level who take their time to just put that work in for that sport because it's a real life job.
And in case we didn't say it enough, we definitely want to thank you for sure for taking the time to join us during that 10-day break to come down here on Off the Bench Radio, Justin.
Yeah, I can't say enough about that. So California life versus Southern life. Are you a Southern boy? Do you kind of like that California vibe? You got any preferences yet? You got a taste of it?
I'm a Southern boy for sure, but I'm an open-minded guy. So I go out to California. The friends that I make out there, they show me what California life is, and it's a very diverse place. I love it so far. Go to the Giants game. Steph Curry will show up on campus sometimes. The athletes and even the students you're around, they're going to be big time in life, and so I'm very blessed to be around that environment.
Favorite food spot that you found out west so far?
I'll say In-N-Out's pretty nice. That's a West Side thing. I want to say Cane's as well. Cane's is really good.
Okay.
We don't have a Zaxby's in Cali. I wish they could bring that out there as well, but yeah, I love that.
Is that your go-to place when you're back home is Zaxby's?
Yes, Zaxby's is my go-to fast food place.
Now, we're talking our speed here, Justin. So.
Oh, yeah, we can talk food all day. If we need to just spend the next segment on it, I'm down with that.
I was going to say, have you tried the California tortilla yet?
I have not. I might need to go check that out.
Definitely check that one out.
Good stuff. Absolutely. I love it. So was there any culture shock moments? Did you get out there and be like, oh, man, this is wild. I don't know if I'm in the right spot. Or you just
sunshine the whole season without snow, probably.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The only thing I'll say is I'm a big family person, like I mentioned earlier. I don't really have family out in California. I have to fly either a connected flight or straight to Atlanta to see my family. But they spend the time to come out and see me as well. So that's about the only shock that I've had is just a little homesick. But other than that, it's been really good.
And speaking of family, we talked about this before we got started. Your brother Josh is going to be starting his freshman year at Colgate, and Justin, you have another Hampton coming through the Baylor ranks as well. So kind of talk about your siblings there, and just kind of obviously sibling rivalries are a part of just growing up, especially when you throw sports into it. But it seems like you guys probably would definitely feed off each other and support each other through that as well. So kind of talk about the relationship with your siblings and just how athletics has helped mold that relationship.
Yes, my brother Joshua, me and him we've actually gotten closer since I moved out. We both grew up together like twins. I believe we're 16 months apart. He was born in April. He's 18 right now. I'm 19. And he grew up. I'll say he grew up in my shadow growing up. Everybody was looking up to me, and he was just right there with me. But now he's making a mark for himself, and I'm just so proud of him. He actually quit football around 12 or 11 and went to flag football. And then when middle school came around, he started getting back into real football. And I told him, I was like, hey, make a name for yourself. And he did that. And he's at Colgate, working his butt off. And I'm just so proud of him. And same goes for my little brothers. They've lived in both of our shadows. We set a mark for them, and I know they're going to do bigger and better things than me and my brother have.
And give those two a shout out. What are their names?
Israel and Noah. So Israel is 10 years old. Noah is 9 years old. They're both good. Israel, big baseball player, football. Noah the same way. Noah's the more energetic guy. He's gonna put a show for y'all in the coming years, and I'm sure
we'll be there for
he's
it.
Gonna be a big name when he gets older.
Speaking of, obviously we're talking about you being at Stanford. This question here: have you ever met Tiger Woods?
I have not met Tiger Woods, but I have met Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck. That man, he's a very friendly guy. He walks his kids around. He'll come up and talk to anyone and everyone. And he's just like a normal person, just wanting to get to know anyone. The first time I met him was actually on my visit, and I was eating breakfast, and he walks up to me, and I barely recognized him. He had a hat on. He had his glasses, big beard, and he was like, hey, what's your name? I was like, I'm Caleb Hampton. And he was like, where are you from? I was like, I'm from Tennessee. He was like, oh, well, I'm Andrew Luck. And I was like, whoa.
Wait a second.
I was like, oh, let me take a picture with you real quick. But yeah, I have not met Tiger Woods. I don't think he's been on campus. I don't think I've seen him, but I've met Andrew Luck. And I met Richard Sherman recently. He came to practice, talked to our team, and that was really good as well.
That's a pretty strong lineup there, Justin Sims. I can't think of any better. pretty good.
Obviously represented very well. NFL quarterback, great player, Andrew there, and obviously Sherman impacting kind of the space that we're in too and stuff like that. So that's cool. So what is the recruiting like what was it like for you as a two-sport athlete? Were you like specifically looking for colleges that had two sports, or were coaches specifically recruiting you for that way, or was it? And then obviously talk about. We've seen the Lamborghinis at Texas and the coaches with helicopters and stuff. Like, kind of what's your opinion on kind of how things have played out in that realm of sports recruiting?
Yeah, so my recruiting, I was originally committed to South Carolina for baseball, and I was trying to play football there as well, but they already had their recruits. So I ended up decommitting, and then a bunch of local schools like ETSU, Kennesaw State, Tennessee Tech were hitting me up saying I can do both. And then Stanford hit me up and for football. And then I told them I'm a dual sport, and they reached out to the baseball staff. Baseball staff hit me up and asked for some film and video, and I sent it over, and they're like, "Yeah, you can do both here." And then from there on, that's how I ended up at Stanford. The vehicles and all that stuff, I think it's very entertaining. It really draws players to the schools for sure. I know me personally, if Coach came up to me and was like, hey, we can get you this free car and stuff like that, I'll take it.
Turn that down.
Yeah.
As a 40-year-old man, I'm going to turn that down for sure. Well, you mentioned the recruiting process. NIL obviously is a big thing. You mentioned, I think, the Cardinal Collective, I believe, before. And probably more importantly, the return of EA Sports College Football 25. Mm-hmm. Are you going to be involved in that? And do you mess with the numbers to make yourself unstoppable?
Yes, I will be involved with that. They are sending every athlete a free copy of the game, so that's a big thing. I'll eventually stock myself up on that game. But that's actually a dream. I know every kid grows up and wants to be on a console game. And so I'm going to be very excited. I've had a bunch of friends text me like, hey, are you going to be on the game? I'm going to be using you. And I'm like, yes, I'll be on there.
And just I think we ought to create like a Baylor All-Star team, right? Because you can have you in the backfield, obviously behind Muschamp, and you got Max LeBlanc and Amari Jefferson out there on the edges, and running behind big Bryson Sanders. So talk about the relationship with those guys, because when we covered that team a couple years ago that won a state championship, you could just see the talent and kind of how you guys gelled with each other. It just seemed like nobody was trying to get the spotlight over the other. They were just pulling together, and pretty impressive collection of talent there. Do you guys still keep in touch? And, obviously support each other for sure.
Oh yeah, we still keep in touch. I talk to Amari almost every other day. Checking up on him at Alabama. Bryson, I saw him at the graduation with my brother because his sister graduated and stuff like that. I keep up with all of them, but that team was, you're right, we never had a spotlight person. We all just wanted to go out there and do our thing. We listened to Coach Kimry, and he had everything to plan, and we just, did what he asked us to do, and it came accordingly. We won a state championship, so I love that team. That will always be in my memories.
This may be a tough question, but I probably know the answer, considering one of these answers is a state championship involved. But better moment for you on the field, beating McCallie over here at Baylor, or winning a state championship in your home city?
I'll say state championship.
As
much as I love the beating McCallie after 7 years, our team, we lost to NBA in the playoffs all the previous years. So beating them at the state championship and, winning it all and getting that ring is what we always talk about. You always talk about championships, never one game. Coach Kimry came in and he was like, we're going to win a state championship. And we did that. And that was the best thing.
Yeah, for sure. And, it's funny because I think in that game you had a really good touchdown run to put the game away, essentially. So, okay, let me ask you this as a back. Would you rather run, have a touchdown run like that behind guys like Bryson Sanders in that offensive line, or catch like a wheel route out of the backfield with Muschamp and have blockers like LeBlanc and Amari Jefferson guiding you to the end zone?
Oh, definitely a run. That's the biggest thing. The biggest thing about that play was that wasn't really a game plan play. That was just something Coach Kimry thought would work for that situation, and it opened up perfectly. It was a stretch play, and throughout the year, we rarely ran stretch plays. We ran trap, inside zone, and all those other things. And it was just very eye-opening how that one play just set everything away.
We'll have to repost that on the Off the Bench account, Justin Sims at Off the Bench CHA. So definitely a big play for sure.
Yeah, to me, wasn't the play in the game was a strip through the back of the end zone in that game, or one of those McCallie games?
Mm-hmm. In the state championship game?
No, the first time y'all played at Baylor, I think. The coming down, you poked the ball out of the guy's arm. Maybe not. I don't remember.
The big Cam Sparks, maybe.
Yeah, Cameron Sparks. That was against McCallie.
Right.
Yep,
right.
I remember that. That was a big time play as well.
What is the biggest time play you may have seen? So that you made, or is there a play that jumps out to you? You're like, man, that's of all the games, all the plays I made.
It could be baseball or football. It doesn't just have to be football. So
I'll say, let me think. Definitely the state championship game. I don't think that last touchdown was my favorite. I think the first touchdown was my favorite because I broke the safety's ankles and he fell, and that just got me hyped up, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep going, and that just motivated me to do more and more that game.
I love it. So I guess let's just transition to your baseball career here, since we're talking about Baylor. Obviously Coach Ellie and Coach Kenny definitely helped lead the way, and you guys, I think, had a state championship in one of your runs there. Kind of talk about just your time as a baseball player there at Baylor, because obviously, they made another run in the state tournament this past year, and just talk about what that means to you, just and on that legacy as well.
Oh, it means a lot. Coach Ellie and Coach Kenny, they both support me well. They keep texting me and reaching out to me, and they would come to the football games as well. And that was a big thing, but they both helped me into the man I am today. And that run, my freshman year, we were cut short because of COVID. But that team, I believe we were going to win state. We had really good guys, and it sucked because we were on Zoom, and all those seniors were crying and stuff like that because it was their last season, and had opportunity to go to the collegiate level, but weren't able to. And then my sophomore year, kind of made it up. That was for them. We won state that year. We had Danny, Nick Kurtz, Cooper Kinney, Henry Galbao, all those guys, Vito Valencias, and then senior year was both. It was just me and the younger guys. Henry Galbao. We brought in Henry Ford. A big guy that was helped our team, and but yeah, the baseball run I couldn't ask for nothing better.
Yeah, have you had a chance, or I don't know if you're keeping up with the World Series going on right now? Obviously, Tennessee making it deeper than they ever have. And really, this tournament, the championship is a de facto ACC championship. So the Stanford's going to the ACC next year. So, if you do well in the ACC, you're looking at being in the Carl's World Series. Let's talk about the World Series and maybe facing that level of competition. Not that the Pac-12 was any pushover, but any expectations leading into that next season?
Oh yeah, I'm excited. I'm a big we're on the East Coast, so coming over here and playing on this side, I know family will be able to come, so I'm excited for that. I've been watching Henry Ford and Henry Gallup out on Virginia. Christian Moore used to go to Baylor on Tennessee, and he's been doing very well too as well. But yeah, I'm rooting for Tennessee because I'm born and raised here, so. But yeah, I'm excited. I've been keeping eyes on that. So.
And on the football side too, obviously, you're not going to be playing the likes of UCLA or USC for conference schedule. But I was looking at the schedule this year. You got trips to Notre Dame and Clemson while still playing rivals like Cal. So kind of talk about the mix there. Obviously, a lot of travel time for not just football but baseball as well. Probably more for baseball, but it's still going to be cool to see. I guess. Still having the old traditions there with Cal, but also setting new ones by playing teams like Clemson and Notre Dame on the football side.
Yeah, I'm excited. A bunch of families supposed to be coming to that Clemson game, so that's exciting. When we'll be able to play Georgia Tech, that's very close to home. I'm excited to go down to Miami as well, play them. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for that.
That's rough having to go to a conference game in Miami, right? So
right. Well, I wonder what that travel's like. How do you think that's going to affect the team having so many cross country flights added to like a schedule that's already loaded? And is there impact to you? I don't know if y'all played in the East Coast games this season, or if you even know what game day travel's like.
No, we haven't. That's actually the question for all of us right now. The football team. We're basically the lab rats for this. So. We're going to be traveling early and just figuring out what they can do for, sleep recovery and, the time change and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to figure out and see how that goes this year.
Take it one step at a time, find out together, right?
I think it might be Grandma's cooking, Gigi's cooking.
Yeah.
She might have to cater a couple of those pregame meals for sure. You'd be okay with that, wouldn't
you? Yeah, I would be okay. She actually did that for our baseball team in high school sometimes.
I love it. That's perfect. So do you have any favorite summer traditions for yourself? Obviously, being on the water, staying cool, especially being a Southern guy like us, is definitely a big thing. But summer or, kind of an off-season tradition that you have that's your favorite?
Well, I'll say in the summer I'm usually playing baseball, but
travel ball.
Travel ball. But other than that, I had some teammates, Chase and Tyler Goddard. They have a little house up in the woods in Georgia, and they have boats and stuff like that. And we go out to the lakes and stuff like that. That was really fun.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a good way. Oh, so speaking of travel ball, I mean, obviously you're not doing that much anymore type thing. And you kind of talk about that process because we had Addie Lewis and Hannah Smith from CCS softball last week, and they're playing travel ball, during the summer as well. So kind of talk about that and kind of how it kind of kept you fresh because, they told us it's kind of pretty much a 365-day, season by the time they play travel ball and then, their school ball. But obviously for you, you played high school football, you played high school baseball, and then you did travel ball.
Yeah, so I played travel ball fall and summer up until high school because in high school you have football during that, and I took that more serious. But, travel ball played a big role for baseball as well. Once high school baseball was over, you go to travel ball and be with all your boys that you pretty much grew up with that are pretty good. And I had a bunch of them are going to elite levels. I played for Exposure Baseball. Mr. Turner is head over that, and he helped me where I am today as well. So they go all over in Georgia, perform at the top level for Perfect Game and PBR, and it's a big thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a big thing, and it's definitely a big thing for families as well because they're traveling with you guys during that time as well, and definitely making more memories and kind of bringing that family unit closer together. Justin,
I'm curious, what's the bigger adjustment? Was there a bigger adjustment to go into football in college or go into baseball in college?
I'll say go into baseball because football is like it's more natural. You just got to be strong, fast, and athletic. Of course, baseball, you got to be flexible. Get your swing back. That's a consistent thing that you have to keep up with. And the hand-eye coordination has to be there. And then you're facing better pitching, harder coaches, better players, and stuff like that. So that was a harder adjustment. Football, of course, is hard, the workouts and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to the game and stuff like that, baseball is a lot harder.
Yeah, for sure. And, you definitely have a love for both sports.
Mm-hmm.
And, Justin mentioned that Stanford Daily article that you were, featured in, I think, in February this past year. And one thing that stuck out to us was, kind of like you mentioned, you love this area. You're from Ottawa. You love being back in Chattanooga when you can. Talk about, it said, you want to create your own foundation to help families. Kind of talk about just kind of what that means and kind of, we mentioned travel ball, the big commitment that takes, not just, time-wise, but financially as well. Kind of talk about that and kind of, what that would mean to families right there that, may not be able to do that, but maybe they're down the line, they'll be able to do that in the future.
Yeah, so I was blessed and fortunate enough to have two parents who sacrificed a lot for me to be able to play travel ball. So I'll say when I was around 12 is when I flipped from all-star to travel ball. That wasn't an easy decision as well because you grow up playing with these guys that you started playing with at 4 years old. And so seeing them, some of those families weren't able to afford travel ball because you got to pay for the team, pay for uniforms, the games, like the tournaments, gloves, bats, wooden bats in summer, so you break a bunch of those. But it's very expensive, and you can't forget traveling expenses, food and gas and all that kind of stuff. So I just ultimately I want to make connections and be able to start a foundation where people are able to donate money, and I can help provide for those kids that are out there that are not able to afford all those things that I was able and fortunate enough to have. And it didn't take just my family alone. It was family and friends who were able to help with me to be able to travel, and I was just very blessed. And I also want to give back to those who can be able to pursue their dream.
That's awesome.
I'll tell you, he's got the brand with the champ brand, and he's obviously the name also is backed up. You got championships in multiple sports. You're playing at a championship level program like Stanford now. When talking baseball versus football, you feel like maybe the pregame hype up for football is obviously way different than baseball. Like, what is your approach to each game? Like, you've got football where it's kind of like, raw, I'm about to bash myself into a wall for 60 minutes, versus baseball, you kind of be more strategy and chill and stuff.
Yeah.
And how do you approach both sports differently, or is there more like I'm the Spartan warrior guy over here, and then for baseball I'm more chilled out?
I just listen to music, and I pray before every game, and just ask God to give me the strength and power to impress him and express him out there. That's the ultimate goal. But that's pretty much the pregame for me. Baseball is more subtle, you're just going out there hitting, and you're out there on the field all day long. Football, you got to get ready to hit somebody and stuff like that. So you got to listen to music to get ready for that. But that's what I do.
Any other pre or post game traditions or superstitions that you go through personally? I'm sure teams have certain things they do, as units, but like for you individually, any other like pregame or post game superstitions?
I don't think I have superstitions, but I do write this verse on my wrist tape and on my bat as well. As John 3:30 is, he must become greater, I must become less. That's just promoting God and all the things that he's doing for me, and I can't put myself before him. So I wrap that around my bat twice. It's all over the tape, and I just want to promote him.
Yeah, for sure. So favorite environment you played in your first year at Stanford, whether it's baseball or football or both, maybe two different ones?
I'll say definitely the Washington game. That was big for me because they made it to the championship, and so just be able to say I played against them that year. That was the biggest environment. We should have beat them that game. It was a close game. We were I think it was tied, and it was fourth down for us, and it was about like 1 minute 50 seconds left. And we ran a play where we had our wing player act like he was blocking. He went out and wide open, and he dropped it, and nobody was there. He could have scored, but and then they scored after that and won the game. But that was probably the biggest environment and wide open game for me.
Now, obviously, I'm sure the best environment is the one on your home field every Saturday, right? For sure.
Yeah. Speaking of those, the fans, obviously we talked about Stanford's move to the Southern thing. What's the West Coast? Do you think there's a difference in the fervor maybe of a West Coast fan, maybe for what you might get if you get some of these ACC fan bases out there? And do you think that'll affect any of these guys that have only ever experienced West Coast football?
I don't think so. I don't think so at all. The fans, I feel like the fans are the same. They're just diehards for their home team and stuff like that. But I will say I feel like Southern teams down here, they're more diehard than they are on the West Side. I can just say that. I guess I'm kind of biased since I'm I'm talking about Southern, but yeah.
And two sports, if you find success, is it something you think you could carry if you become a professional athlete, or is there something you think one day maybe I could be a pro athlete? Essentially, if you had to pick one sport to become a pro athlete, would you do it, or would you say I want to play baseball the rest of my life as long as I can play?
I don't know that decision yet. That's just something I'm gonna have to pray about. But I'm gonna just keep playing both sports as long as I can, and whichever one I succeed the most in is the one that I'll originally commit to. So that's what I feel about my decision.
Before we go to our last break here, favorite two-sport athlete, Bo Jackson or Deion Sanders?
Bo Jackson for sure. I mean, we wear the same number. So,
That's
and
true.
what's crazy is I wasn't planning on wearing 34 going into high school. They had upperclassman was wearing 42 because I wore 42 growing up for Jackie Robinson, and but 34 stuck with me freshman year, and I wore it all the way through, and now I'm wearing it at the college level. Wore 15 for baseball. They had a player had 34 and 42. So I'm wearing 15 for baseball, and for football, I'm still wearing 34.
I'm very impressive with you, obviously. Who would have thought a Baylor graduate, a guy that's able to play two sports at Stanford, be impressive individual here. But you get two choices. You're a walk-off home run to win the College World Series or a walk-off touchdown to win the college football playoff. Which one do you want?
Man, I got to go with walk-off home run. Just the feeling, because baseball was the first sport I started with. So the feeling of hitting a home run and on top of that winning it for your team, that's a feeling that's beyond.
I'd imagine coming around those bases
Yeah.
would probably be a little you get to soak in a little bit more
Yeah,
than you're
more
running away from
emotional,
somebody
yeah.
trying to tackle you.
Yeah.
You probably get to soak in that last jaunt around the bases there. That's cool.
Yeah.
Before we get you out of here, again, Caleb Hampton, once again, former Baylor standout, currently multi-sport athlete for Stanford, and getting ready to hit top of the ACC. So a lot of change in the college football realm, and still a lot of good things as well. So when Stanford's in the Pac-12, the rowdiest fans out there, because obviously everybody thinks about USC and UCLA, Oregon, Allison Stadium. Which one was more intimidating to you, do you think?
I'll say probably the Oregon. Oregon was probably
okay.
That was a good team as well, but that stadium was. It was Oregon State actually. That stadium was crazy. They have this beaver thing where they're like clapping the whole time and stuff like that. But that was surreal too as well.
Sounds like a Pac-12 version of the Gator Chomp.
Right,
Gainesville, right, for sure.
The beaver chomp or something. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one yet, but I may have to familiarize myself.